as a young kid, I pretty much had it all figured out what I wanted to do in life. Be a college athlete, a pro athlete, had everything in the world going the way I wanted it to, and was been water skiing since I was 4 years old, and on a water ski team where we would travel all over the states doing shows. And one of the ski shows between my freshman and sophomore year in high school, I was 15 years old. One of the boats accidentally got thrown into reverse, and I was about 10 feet behind the boat when it took off wide open backwards, and I was run over by the boat. Eventually, the right leg was destroyed pretty badly. The left one was amputated at the seam. So that kind of started the journey of just recovering and restarting my life, and thinking at points that, it was never going to be the same again, wanting to give up, wanting to quit, suicidal thoughts at my lowest point. I'm lucky that I was too disabled to get out of the bed to be able to make that happen, but as I laid there that night in the bed, asked why me 1,000 times, cried, really for the first time in my whole hospital stay, was giving up. And honestly, what turned my world around was just laying in the bed, asking why 1,000 times. No one in the room, no one visited, no one stopped by that night. And I heard as clearly as I'm speaking to you, don't worry, you'll find out. And it was vague, it was quick, it was not what I wanted to hear, but it was enough to say, listen, I have no idea what the reasonings are behind all of this, why this has happened to me, but maybe something awesome is going to turn out. I had no clue of what that might be. I had no clue, had no expectations that anything good would come out of all of this. But it was just enough faith and just enough hope built in there to make me want to find out. And I made a pact with myself that I was going to fight as hard as I could for the next however long it took to figure this out and to see what good could come out of it and see what was possible. Physically, things came around pretty quickly for me. I ended up water skiing a year after the accident, played 2 years of varsity basketball for the high school. Being able to achieve those things physically didn't feel like a big, accolade for me. It did for the community. I was one of the first in the whole country to play competitive sports with an artificial leg. But I looked at it as I'm just normal again. I get to do the things I enjoy doing. I get to be a kid again. I get to, just have my life back. And for me, that was the most important part for me. The first time I ever spoke and told my story was my senior year in high school for our youth Sunday at our church. I told the whole story in front of the church, and a lot of people knew parts of the story, but nobody knew the whole story and my point of view. And after that happened, just the waves of people that told them how much they needed to hear that day, and they've been struggling with this and needed that, and the strength that they gained from it. I never expected any of those things. I just wanted to have the opportunity to share the story, and it really made a big impact. And so that was the first time I got in front of a crowd and showed the story, and it's been pretty wide open since that point. There were certainly lulls in my life where I got away from doing it in college and things like that, but once I finally started back doing it again, 6 or 7 years ago on more of a steady basis, it quickly overtook the other careers that I was doing in my life, and I don't have time to do anything but full-time speaking now. I've been very blessed that, listen, I wouldn't change that day for anything in the world. If I could go back and rewind time and take that day away, what I know now and who I've become and who I've been able to serve and help, it's far better of a life than I could have ever planned out for myself. So it's been very blessed to be able to do it, and for people to want to hear it and to bring me in to share it. And it's a story that is all about perseverance, overcoming life. We all have our difficulties, we all have our challenges, we all have our things that we need to overcome. It's just nice to hear sometimes that somebody else has been through it and it's possible.